Joy Anna Duggar pays tribute to stillborn daughter Annabell on her 6th birthday. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. For Duggar family latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Joy Anna Duggar is recognizing a difficult family milestone. On July 1, the former Counting On star took to Instagram to share photos in honor of her stillborn daughter, Annabell, who would have turned 6 years old this week. A lot has changed in the lives of Joy and her husband, Austin Forsyth, since then, but she's still keeping baby Annabell close to her heart. Joy memorialized Annabell with a sweet post. "Happy heavenly 6th birthday, Annabell Elise Forsyth," Joy wrote in her caption, before warning her followers that some of the photos she included in her post may be disturbing to some. Joy shared a black and white picture of her daughter's tiny feet, followed by bump photos, a video of her ultrasound, and finally, heartbreaking pictures of Joy, Austin, and Annabell in the hospital when Joy gave birth. Her comments were filled with supportive messages. Joy's sister Jill commented on the post, writing, "Love you so much sis," while longtime BFF Carlin Bates commented, "Love you some." Many fans also extended their support to Joy in the comments or to share that they've experienced a similar loss. "It's really beautiful that you have these pictures to treasure." Fellow lost mothers get it. One person commented, "Of course, you should share these photos if you want to and be proud of your baby." Joy announced her loss in July 2019. In her caption, Joy shared that when she and Austin went in for their 20-week ultrasound and gender reveal, they learned that their baby no longer had a heartbeat and wasn't moving. "We named her Annabell Elise," she wrote. "Annabell means God has favored me and Elise means God satisfies." What a precious thing to know that when our daughter opened her eyes, the first thing she saw was the face of Jesus. In 2023, she shared Annabell's birth story. Joy and Austin sat down to tell the story of Annabell's birth in July 2023 in a video they shared on their family's YouTube channel. "It was a really hard time because you're going through all of this and your body thinks that you're having a baby, but at the end of the day, you're gonna go home and your arms are going to be empty and you're not gonna have that baby to hold," she said at the time. Joy Anna Duggar's dance video showing the different outfits of motherhood has people giggling. Anyone who's caught a few episodes of 19 Kids and Counting already knows that the Duggar kids have had very different childhoods from what many of us experienced growing up. Being under the umbrella of Bill Gothard and the Institute in Basic Life Principles meant that they weren't able to enjoy mainstream movies or music and had to follow a restrictive dress code. Of course, dancing was totally off the table because it is considered too sinful. And now that Joy Anna Duggar is making the choice to break another one of the rules she used to live by, fans are cheering. Joy Anna Duggar showed off her moves in a new video. In the video, Joy is dancing to Justin Timberlake's "Can't Stop the Feeling" as she changes into different outfits to show what a wide variety of clothing she has in her closet. "One day I'm Pinterest mom, next day I'm just happy I'm dressed," she wrote in her caption, adding, "Can you tell I didn't dance as a kid?" Fans are cheering her on in the comments. In the comments, so many of Joy's followers applauded her dancing. She might not have the same moves as a professional would, but plenty of people were proud of her for doing something that was forbidden while she was growing up. "I've been following your family since before some of your siblings were even born, and I gotta say I love you this content," one comment said. "You harmlessly dancing around, full of literal joy singing and rocking these outfits. You seem so happy and watching this made me happy." Another person added, "Oh my gosh, I could cry watching how happy you are dancing, not to mention to a great song. I'm so happy for you." Her critics have a lot of thoughts. On a popular Duggar-related subreddit, Joy's critics aren't all that happy for her for breaking the rules and dancing instead. Some took this opportunity to point out that this is just one of the ways the Duggars are making their religious beliefs more relatable. It's all part of the overall rebranding of fundamentalism into something more palatable to the general public. so I'm not sure Jim Bob Duggar cares as much as we think, one person wrote. It's all a rebranding strategy, and it's working. Do they even know what real dancing is, said another comment. They all give the idea that their lifestyle is amazing. Some members of the family only started dancing very recently. Jinger Duggar says it's strange to go home to parents Jim Bob and Michelle's house as an adult. It's always a little weird to go back home after moving out and starting your own life, something even Jinger Duggar is all too familiar with. During this week's episode of the Jinger and Jeremy podcast, she opened up about her recent visit home to Arkansas and how strange she felt being back in Jim Bob and Michelle's house again after so much has changed. Jinger, husband Jeremy Volo, and their 3 children visited her family back home in June. And although she said the trip was so exciting, it was also overwhelming at times. Partly because having such a big family means having a lot of people to plan time with. There are a couple siblings who live away now, just a few. And when you live away from family and then you come back, everybody wants to see you, she said. Everybody wants to connect with you, and it can be so tough to juggle all that. They ended up spending a lot of time at her parents' house, which Jinger and her siblings refer to as the big house because it's big enough to accommodate anyone who might have wanted to stop by and see them. The changes that have been made there recently were immediately obvious to Jinger. The first being how clean it is without so many kids running around making messes. It's like perfectly clean. Typically, when you walk into the big house, it's kinda messy, she explained on the podcast. We would clean the house every night, and it would be spotless, ready to go. But when you walk in at, like, 2 p.m. on a weekday and the house is clean, I thought, this is a different season of life. Because you have maybe 5 kids who live there now, and they all grown, so that's strange. These days, the youngest kid in Jim Bob and Michelle's house is 15-year-old Josie, so the time when toys would be scattered everywhere is long behind them. But despite the strangeness, Jinger said she had fun, and that it was kinda wild to see her youngest siblings turning into adults. I love seeing how my younger siblings have grown and matured. What they're into now, she shared on the podcast. Because when I left, that was a long time ago, and those little kids are all grown up. It's hard for me to picture the little kids as teenagers and as adults now. Jinger Duggar opens up about overwhelming visit with large family. Jinger Vuloni Duggar admitted that it can be overwhelming to visit her large family in Arkansas after she relocated to California. During the Wednesday, July 2 episode of their Jinger and Jeremy podcast, Jinger, 31, and her husband, Jeremy Volo, discussed their last-minute trip with their children, Felicity, 6, Evangeline, 4, and Finn, 3 months, to see her family, including parents Jim Bob Duggar and Michelle Duggar, in her home state. It is so exciting. I love going back to visit, Jinger shared. And at the same time, it's overwhelming because we live away. There are a couple siblings who live away now, just a few. And when you live away from family and then you come back, everybody wants to see you. Everybody wants to connect with you, and it can be so tough to juggle all that. Jinger added that trying to coordinate stuff with her family has become even more complicated as her 18 siblings continue to have more kids. Despite feeling stress about seeing everyone, Jinger insisted she had a good time on the trip. A ton of people went to the big house and our kids got to see all the animals that they have there, she said, referring to Jim Bob, 59, and Michelle's home. That was super fun. After Jeremy, 37, pointed out that it had been a long time since they were at the big house, Jinger said it was wild to realize how much her family has changed over the years. When we first walked in, everything's clean, the former TLC star said. It's like perfectly clean. Typically, when you walk into the big house, it's kinda messy. We would clean the house every night, and it would be spotless, ready to go. But when you walk in at, like 2 p.m. on a weekday and the house is clean, I thought, this is a different season of life. because you have maybe 5 kids who live there now, and they're all grown, so that's strange. Jinger shared that she didn't go into her old bedroom, though Jeremy revealed that he showed their daughters where mommy would sleep. It was fun stepping back into that old property and just seeing the family, Jinger said. I think my younger siblings, that's the part that's really fun. I love seeing how they've grown and matured, what they're into now. Because when I left, that was a long time ago, and those little kids are all grown up. It's hard for me to picture the little kids as teenagers and as adults now. It's kinda wild. News: Jill Duggar's new hairdo causes backlash. Jill Duggar Dillard and her husband Derek were overjoyed when they found out they were expecting their 4th Childa baby girl. Her name would be Esla Marie Dillard, and she was already loved by her parents and her 3 older brothers. They eagerly waited for her arrival, dreaming of the day she would fill their home with her cries, her coos. But sometimes, life doesn't follow the plan. At a routine checkup, they heard the words no parent ever wants to hear: there is no heartbeat. Their beautiful baby girl had died in the womb. She was stillborn just months before her expected birth. The couple shared their heartbreak publicly. It is with heavy hearts that we announce the stillbirth of our beautiful baby girl, Isla Marie Dillard. From the moment we found out we were pregnant, we couldn't wait to meet our baby. They held a memorial service for Isla. There was a tiny white coffin, soft toys, handwritten notes, and pale pink flowers. Her name, Isla, meaning devoted to God, and Marie, meaning wished for child, reflected how deeply wanted and cherished she was. Jill and Derek's 3 sons had looked forward to meeting their baby sister. They never got the chance. We will love you forever and hold you in our hearts until we hold you in heaven. Jill Duggar is one of the Duggars who has done the most whistleblowing out of the family. Duggar News followers understand it's not easy going after the people who raised her, but they have been appreciative of her for speaking her truth and calling out the problematic elements. Now, most of Jill's posts surround her home life, her loving husband Derek, and her beautiful kids. One of the major sources of Jill's income is her social media presence. Hence, she is constantly posting things and sharing highlights from her life for everyone's entertainment. However, her new post caused a massive uproar on the internet. So, what exactly did Jill do which was so offensive? Duggar News: Jill Duggar details concerns about high-risk pregnancy. Won't have more kids? Jill Duggar had a devastating year. It was during her 2nd trimester of her 4th pregnancy that she ended up having a stillbirth. It was a big deal for her and her husband, Derek Dillard. They had already named their baby girl Isla Marie. They also had a funeral for her in their backyard, and she shared many posts talking about her little one. In an Ask Anything session, a viewer wanted to know if she would have more kids or if she was content with her 3 boys. Well, Jill happily said that they tried to find a girl and talked about Isla Marie. She also said that her pregnancies are high risk, so she and her husband weren't trying at the moment. They were not sure if it would be worth it to try at that point because of Jill's health concerns. She did say that her deliveries and pregnancies from the past have been very difficult. Duggar News: Jill faces criticism for debuting new hairdo. Jill Duggar is always sharing wholesome family updates on her Instagram handle. The Duggar News star has made her husband and kids her sole priority. That's precisely why most of her reels and pictures on the platform contain her husband and kids. But this time around, Jill tried to do something different. She shared a post about how she added a little summer happy to her hair. Well, the video had Jill twirling around with light-colored dreads and braids in her hair. While many people appreciated her in the comments section, others felt differently. On Reddit, someone shared the link to Jill's post and kept saying how offensive it was. Many angry viewers began to call it a classic example of cultural appropriation. The post has since then been deleted from Reddit because of the insensitive comments. Jill Duggar says husband Derek is taking a sabbatical from his career as a lawyer. Jill Duggar and her husband, Derek Dillard have taken a different route in their lives than many of her married sisters. For much of their early marriage, Derek was still in law school, and now the couple is finally getting to enjoy the fruits of his labor. But is his career path changing after all of that hard work? Jill has finally confirmed that Derek is switching things up, at least for now. Rumors about Derek's career began last month. Just under a month ago, critics on Reddit discovered that Derek's LinkedIn profile indicates that he left his job as an assistant district attorney for the state of Oklahoma, a job he's held since 2022. In January now, his employment on his profile indicates that he's an attorney at Dillard Law. Is he starting his own law firm? So far, he hasn't shared any updates on his career himself, so critics have been trying to guess what's going on behind the scenes. Now, Jill is setting the record straight.